Hello?
Ms. Howell,
Yes.
this is Jason Goodman calling from Crowdsource the Truth. We don't know each other, but I wanted to reach out with you. I'm not sure if you've been informed, but you've been wrongly named in a frivolous lawsuit from an individual named Robert David Steele. Do you know who he is?
No.
Okay. Well, Crowdsource the Truth is an internet-based news website that I run. And Robert
Okay.
David Steele is a guy who claims to be an ex-CIA agent, and he is involved in a variety of internet activities, news programs, and sort of fraudulent, I guess you'd call them NGOs. He's raising money under the guise of creating an election reform campaign. But what we've done is we have identified a number of items of evidence that indicate that he is a fraudster.
Okay.
And basically, just to give you a little background on what we do, my website, Crowdsource the Truth, is sort of an open source fact finding and fact checking news community where
Okay.
we brought this guy Robert David Steele onto our show, which appears on YouTube and various other streaming services on the internet. We brought him on to support his efforts to create this election reform bill, and he raised about $15,000 from our audience in an hour or so, and then immediately turned around and started making misrepresentations and basically trying to separate my business partner and I in an effort to get my business partner to join his campaign. And he told me that I was going to be arrested by the NYPD. This was months ago. And it was obviously a complete fabrication. I am not wanted by the NYPD. I have not broken any laws. And so we've been, as I said, continually exposing his lies and his frauds on the internet. And so he's now brought a slander and defamation lawsuit against me because he obviously doesn't realize that when you accuse someone of fraud and present evidence, that's called journalism. When you do what he's doing and wrongly accuse people like yourself, he's now named you in a lawsuit that has been filed today. So I just wanted to alert you that this was happening. We have certain
I
people.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
What's the charge? What's the
I can
accusation?
email you the entire document that he's sent to me. I mean, the accusation is this. So as I said, we have this open source community where our viewers, our audience members, they contact us by email, by telephone, by Skype, whatever. And some of the members of this community have now become part of the show. That's the whole crowdsource idea. If you're a lawyer, if you're a scientist, if you're a grandmother sitting at home, we put up a news story, and if you say, hey, wait a minute, I live in Minnesota, and I drive by that hospital every day, here's a photograph of the ambulance, whatever, and it's like, that's evidence in our news story, and we put it in. So it's sort of a interactive news program, and some of the people that have come forward obviously want to protect themselves, they want to protect their families, so they sometimes give interviews under code names, they sometimes give interviews with their voice masked, or those types of things. So their identities are unknown, but they're still presenting valid evidence. For instance, one claim that Robert David Steele made was that he had written the NATO open source intelligence manual. So one of our crowdsourced community members, who goes by the code name Queen Tut, she went and contacted the general, the Army general. He's a retired Army general named General Kiernan. She contacted him and said, did this individual, Robert David Steele, participate with your team to write this manual? And the general went back. He's like a 3-star or 4-star retired Army general. Went back and did his research and came back a week later and sent an email to this woman who goes by Queen Tut saying, no, I've checked with everyone. They've never heard of Robert David Steele. So we did a news story where we say, all right, here's evidence of fraud. The guy openly claims he wrote this book. And here's the individual who's pictured on the inside of the book as the author of the book who says he had nothing to do with it. So now he's issued a lawsuit naming me and 2 of my associates, including Queen Tut, and somehow he's decided that Queen Tut is you.
That I'm Queen Tut.
Right. So he's named you in this federally filed lawsuit. Now, I will say he hasn't served me with the lawsuit yet. So he's committed the civil tort of the intentional civil tort of I think it's called violation of process, something like abuse of process. So
Yeah.
last week he was saying, I've filed a federal lawsuit against Jason Goodman and crowdsourced the truth. And he put it out on the internet. And he sent it to me, but it's not stamped. It's not signed. I wasn't served by a process server. He just emailed it to me and spread it all around the internet and made a couple of videos making all these false claims. When I made a contradicting video saying it has not been filed, he just wrote a document in Microsoft Word and shared it on the internet. He's now committed abuse of process, so now he's actually filed it. Again, hasn't served me yet, but I wanted to let you know about it because you are named in it, and I'm gonna. If you'd like to share your email address with me, I can email it to you. And I also wanted to offer you the opportunity. I fully understand if you don't want to have anything to do with this, but I wanted to offer you the opportunity to come on our program by telephone or Skype or whatever is convenient for you, or even pre-record an interview or whatever you may or may not want to do with Queen Tut, who's a woman who I've been communicating with for months, who I consider a very competent researcher and a very honest person. Just to say that you have nothing to do with this, that you've been wrongly accused, and give you an opportunity to state your piece once you've read the allegations and make a statement if you'd like to.
So this real Queen Tut wants to remain anonymous?
I could introduce you to her, and she can choose if she'd like to share her identity with you or not. But I mean, she's an anonymous source, almost like, you know.
Okay, so she doesn't want this guy to know who she is?
I think that's correct. Yes.
Okay. That would immediately eliminate any possibility of me being Queen Tut.
Well, I mean, what we would do, what my plan is to prove that incorrect, is to have you on the show. We do a show that usually goes on at 7 p.m. I'm in New York. So again, what we could do is we could either have a pre-recorded call at any time at your convenience where you and Queen Tut would be on the phone at the same time. My viewers are familiar with Queen Tut. She's appeared on the show many, many times, and they could hear you and her having a conversation. And I mean, again, you know, there's always going to be naysayers out there who say, oh, you know, Jason's getting actors or doing whatever. But the point is, this guy, Robert David Steele, almost every single thing he says is a lie. He's now accused you, who I was totally unfamiliar with you before he named you in this lawsuit. And I just want to, you know, the guy has committed fraud, stolen money from our audience, and is going around saying that I'm a Mossad agent, that I'm a porno star. Ridiculous, obviously untrue things. And I'm just
trying... his name again is...
Robert David Steele, Steele.
Now, I'm wondering why he would come up with my name.
I'm wondering
Did you do any research on who I am?
Queen Tut actually did research on who you are, and I had presumed that it was possible, based on what she said, that you might have been someone who also was trying to expose his fraudulent activities, and that he might therefore have had some kind of bone to pick with you. But the fact that you've never even heard of him is interesting to me.
Well, there's a lot of people. I'm the former political director for the Libertarian Party, and I've been politically active for years, and I've dealt with many candidates. It's possible that I had a dealing with him and didn't remember his name.
Yes.
I'm going to, hold on a second.
He was involved with the Libertarian Party.
He was involved with the Libertarian Party, you said?
I believe he was. I think he ran for president or something at some point, or tried to.
Okay, that's probably what it was, because I was one of the people involved in, okay, I see his name, and he's in New York. Oh, he was born in New York, Reform Party, Libertarian Party. Yeah, we get a bunch of wackos who try to run on the Libertarian ticket.
Right.
And every year, every presidential election year, and his name rings a vague bell when I think about it. But can't say I remember him, and I don't recognize his face when I see it online here. Mm-hmm. But we get lots of people who put their name in the hat to be the Libertarian nominee for president, and a lot of them are wackos or just very poorly qualified to run for local town council, much less president. Mm. And So I've been involved in some of the decision making about the screening process for deciding who gets to be nominated on the floor and who gets to make a speech on the floor of the National Convention. And he obviously didn't make the cut if he was one of the people who tried to get nominated. And
so possibly holding a grudge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of many people. It's really up to the Libertarian National Committee. I was a staff person, so I had some influence in the process, but ultimately the committee decides that, and there's 18 committee members. There's the chair and the officers who he could just as equally, if not more so, blame. In particular, the Convention Oversight Committee are the people who ultimately make those decisions,
sure,
not me.
Mm-hmm.
But he might have, I mean, I had conversations with various candidates who called and wanted to know, how do you run? And I would explain to them some of the parameters and some of the things that enable you to become qualified and what you need to do to accomplish that. And so I may have laid it out to him, and he may have told me, I see a picture of him with John McAfee online here.
Mm-hmm.
I might have said something to him to the effect of, well, you need to go around to different state conventions and win support, and
mm-hmm.
Start to line up delegates willing to vote for you, and you have to get a certain number of signatures. I don't remember exactly how it works, but there's a filtering process for, people have to get so much support in order to, get it to
win the nomination. Yeah.
And eventually just
right.
to even be in the nominating process,
right.
just to even be nominated.
Yeah.
And most of them don't make the cut.
Yeah.
And the ones who do, there's another set of criteria for whether you get to be in the debate, which means you're on C-SPAN on national TV, and so the people are sort of gunning for that. For the publicity.
Yeah, right.
So,
well, that's what he's into, is publicity for sure.
Okay. I mean, generally my attitude is I like to not be publicly associated with these clowns, and, would rather not be on the show. If there was I wouldn't even want to make a statement that had his name in it.
Well, could we do a phone call? What I could do is I could call you back in a few minutes or at any time later today that might be convenient for you. I'll have my associate, who goes by the code name Queen Tut, on the phone with us. And you could, again, if you don't want to be involved at all, I understand. But the fact is, if the guy files a federal lawsuit, I want to get you removed from the suit because I think that you have nothing to do with this. And so
right.
I feel like making some kind of statement that proves that you are not this news source, this information and intelligence source that goes by the codename Queen Tut, I think it's in your best interest. It's my feeling. I can't obviously advise you as to what to do, but
right.
people are telling me, even if it's totally ridiculous, if someone files a lawsuit, you have to answer it, and there could be costs associated with that. So what I'm hopeful is
right.
we'll do this. You seem like a very, very nice woman, very intelligent, obviously. I think if you decide that you do want to act in some way, make a statement. We could record a phone call with you, with Queen Tut, state your piece, similar to what you've just said to me here. I'll just put that out as a 5-minute post on our website. Robert David Steele will have to take you out of his stupid lawsuit.
Well, if that was the result, that would be good. I wouldn't want, obviously, if there's an audio clip and I'm on it and Queen Tut's on it and you're on it and you're discussing him by name, then I could be associated with it. The only thing, what I wouldn't want is any quote out of my mouth uttering his name.
Got it.
Because I do not want to utter the name of people to whom I do not want to give publicity.
I understand. So let's do this. whatever we
Now,
choose.
I'm not agreeing to it as
No,
yet.
I understand.
I'm gonna talk to some people and just
Right.
and I'll get back to you.
And I'll give you some more information that you should include in that conversation. We'll make it not live. We'll make it pre-recorded, and I will absolutely give you the opportunity to listen to the finished piece before it goes out. And further, you'll have the opportunity to tell me what to redact or edit, or we could even redo it until it suits your requirements. Again, I fully acknowledge that you have nothing to do with this. I certainly have no personal or professional issues with you whatsoever. I've never even heard of you before last week when Robert David Steele introduced you into this unfortunate situation. And my goal is to primarily alleviate you from any jeopardy or any legal downside from this thing. And secondarily, to continue to prove that this guy is a malicious actor who is just going around making up nonsense to damage other people and try to gain publicity.
Okay. And I'll talk to some people about it. If I say that I didn't remember his name, that might just anger him more. Well,
I won't advise you as to what to say. It'll be completely your statement, however you want to handle it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let me get your number, and
Yes.
I will call you back after I discuss it. I'm going to discuss it.
Why don't I email you this legal complaint that he sent so you have that as well, and I'll include my phone number there.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah.
My email address is forsmallgov@gmail.com.
FORSMAL.
No, the number 4.
Got it.
The word small, GOV, at Gmail.
Okay, great. forsmallgov@gmail.com, and I'll just say thank you for speaking with me. My phone number, and I'll just include my phone number here, and that is sent. Let me know that you got that. That should be coming from an email address. This is truth@crowdsourcethetruth.org.
Okay. Yep.
Great.
All right. So the lawyer is in Virginia. Well, at least if I have to show up in court, it's in the same state. Maybe.
Well, and we found out some interesting things about this lawyer as well. He was censured in 2009. I mean, really, the whole thing is ridiculous. It's making claims about my professional colleague is my girlfriend, according to Robert David Steele, completely untrue. And also, I don't think that's a legal term in any regard to refer to someone as your girlfriend.
Okay.
It's totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry to involve you in this at all. I just felt that for the past week, I certainly wouldn't have even bothered you, but he was claiming it was filed. My first response was, it's not filed. It's not a lawsuit. It's a fake lawsuit from a real dummy. And now that he's filed it, you are potentially on the hook for responding. I just wanted to make sure you knew about it and had all the information that you needed to make whatever appropriate response you determined should be made.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for alerting me to this, and I will get back to you shortly.
Okay. Thank you, Carla. Have a nice
Probably
day.
later today.
Look forward to it.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye. And if I don't respond, please just leave a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
All right. Great.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.